Good morning, class. I, Mukesh Tiwari, welcome everyone in Smart Exam Academy. And this is the third video that we are going to start in this lesson. So this is the third video. Earlier to that, I have already uploaded two videos on the Union Parliament. This is the first chapter of civics, and we have discussed 1 to 28 important questions in the last two videos. So those who have not seen that videos, I will request everyone to watch that videos first, because every questions are interrelated to each other, and if you even miss out a single question, it would be a very difficult task to understand the rest of the questions. So in the last questions of the last video, if you notice, I was discussing the anti-defection law. The anti-defection law tells that after the election gets over, if you leave the membership of your party to join another party, or if you vote against the party leader, you would be expelled from the party as well as from the membership of the parliament, which is known as under anti-defection law. Under anti-defection law. So this is the same thing which the answer is telling: when a member of the house give up the membership of his party or vote against his party, then he will be disqualified from being a member of the house. But this law is not applicable under the party split, that means division of the party, or party merger. Party merger. Party merger means when two or more political parties mixed up together to join another party. So it is not applicable during the party split or a party merger. So you can pause the video and you can write the main points. It is very important question. Many times it appears. So this question is important one. Moving ahead. Explain the miscellaneous functions of the Speaker of Lok Sabha. The first most important function is the presiding over the joint session of both houses of the parliament. The joint session is presided over by always Speaker. So in this case, Speaker is the more powerful than even the Vice President of India. The joint session is mainly conveyed by the President, who calls the joint sitting of the parliament. It makes a question. ये क्वेश्चन बहुत बार बोर्ड में पूछा जाता है. Who calls the joint sitting or joint session of the both houses of the parliament? The president, and it is presided over by the speaker. In consultation with the chairman of Rajya Sabha, the speaker nominates the panel of the parliamentary delegations to various countries. The parliamentary delegations, it is also an important point. The speaker presides the conference of the presiding officer of the legislative bodies of India. Legislative bodies, that means the law-making bodies. So these are the other points you are required to write down this. Let's move to the next question. What is the composition? The composition is 550. It is a maximum number, and the number remains unchangeable. 238 members elected from the states of the union, and 12 members are nominated by the president. The nomination of the president means choosing at the will of the president. The president nominates the members from the areas of sports, from the areas of sports or science, or literature, science, arts, literature, or from any other area, from the film area also, whichever the president thinks fit. So 12 members are nominated by the president for the smooth functioning and getting the experiences from those members. So this is the whole composition of the Rajya Sabha. As I have already said, that the Rajya Sabha is the upper house. Upper house of the parliament. Upper house of the parliament. Okay. So I hope everybody has understood. Let's move ahead. How are the members of Rajya Sabha here? Rajya Sabha elected. The members of Rajya Sabha are indirectly elected by members of the Legislative Assembly of each state. The members are indirectly elected. This makes a question either directly elected or indirectly elected. Indirectly. The members of Lok Sabha are directly elected. The members of Rajya Sabha are indirectly elected by the members of the Legislative Assembly. Here it makes sense. The people elects the members of the Legislative Assembly, and the Legislative Assembly elects the people of the members of Rajya Sabha. So the members of Rajya Sabha are not popularly elected, but they are indirectly elected by the members of the Legislative Assembly and the Legislative Council if the state is bicameral. Okay. I hope everybody has been able to understand. So let's move ahead. What is the term of the members of Rajya Sabha? The members of Rajya Sabha, the term is 6 years. But actually Rajya Sabha is a permanent house. If anybody asks you what is the life of the Rajya Sabha, it is a permanent house. Permanent house. It never gets dissolved. It continues. The life of Lok Sabha is 5 years, but Rajya Sabha is a permanent house. It never gets dissolved, but the members retire after 2 years. 1/3 of the total members of the house retire every 2 years. That means every 2 years the election happens in the Rajya Sabha, and who participate in the election? MLA, member of Legislative Assembly of each state, participate in the election of the Rajya Sabha. After every 2 years, the election happens to fill the vacancy of the members of Rajya Sabha. I hope it is clear. Let's move. What is the qualification required to be the member of Rajya Sabha? 30 years. In Lok Sabha, 25 years. In the Lok Sabha, and in the Rajya Sabha, 30 years. Lok Sabha, the minimum age to become a member of Lok Sabha is 35 years. Here, 25 years. Here, 30 years. He should be an Indian citizen, should be of at least 30 years of the age, should have his name in the electoral roll. That means he should be a citizen of India. Same is being repeated here. Should not hold any office of profit under Government of India. That means not a government servant. Government servant cannot apply, or if the government servant is applying, he has to submit the resignation. He should not be insolvent or in debt like mad person. He should not be mad or insolvent. That means incapable. Insolvent, incapable. Should not be proclaimed as criminal. He should not be found guilty by the court of law. Should not be unsound mind. Unsound mind means the incapable, or also a mad person. So these are the main qualifications. Should a citizen of India above 30 years of age, unemployed, or you may also tell that the person should be unemployed, office of profit under Government of India should not hold, should not be a mad person, incapable, insolvent, or criminal, or unsound mind. So these are the basic qualifications to be a member of Rajya Sabha. Let's move ahead. I hope everybody is able to understand. Now state the legislative powers. It comes in the exam. Matters of the union list. What is union list? Union list, there are three lists: union list, state list, and the concurrent list. Union list, where the union government or parliament has the power to make law. It is maximum 97 in the union list. Third one is called the concurrent list. Concurrent list means both the union and the state government has the exclusive power to make law. जहाँ पर यूनियन गवर्नमेंट और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट दोनों ही कानून बना सके, वो होता है concurrent list. The parliament make law for all 47 subjects mentioned in the concurrent list. Now residuary powers. What is residuary powers? Residuary powers are those powers which are mentioned neither in the union list, state list, concurrent list. In all the three it is not mentioned. So residuary powers वो powers होते हैं जिनको ना ही यूनियन लिस्ट में जिनका उल्लेख होता है, ना ही स्टेट लिस्ट में, और ना ही concurrent लिस्ट में. Matters in the state list. The parliament makes law 66 subjects mentioned in the state list during proclamation of emergency. That means if in the matter of emergency, the union government can also make laws in the state list, which is given in the state list. But the proclamation of emergency, I have already explained this thing in my first or second video. My first video, the emergency, national emergency, state emergency, and the financial emergency. Ordinance. What is ordinance? Ordinance means any law passed by the president without being passed by the parliament. The president promulgates the ordinance. The ordinance is always promulgated by the president. Ordinance means the law. Law is not only passed by the parliament, it can be proclaimed by the president also. It will be passed later, but it should be rejected. The same has to be approved or rejected within 6 months of the assembly of the parliament. Within 6 months it should be passed by the parliament, otherwise it remains invalid. So what is ordinance? Ordinance is the proclaimed law by the president, the power during emergencies. As I have said, during the time of emergency, the central government takes up the power of the state list. So it's a very important question. I hope everybody, I have been able to make understand everyone. Union list, state list, concurrent list, residuary power, state list, ordinance, and the powers relating to emergency. Let's move. What is financial power of the parliament? The budget. The budget must be passed in the Lok Sabha only. Union budget. The supplementary grants. The parliament authorizes the government of India to take money to expend to meet the expenses. That is called the supplementary grant. Vote on account. The budget is not presented by the government before 1st April beginning of the financial year. Then the vote of account authorizes the executive to take fund from the consolidated fund of India. Without the permission of the parliament, the government is not authorized to take a single money from the consolidated fund of India. So vote on account authorizes the government to take money. Now the salaries and allowances, it is not subject to the vote, because the parliament authorizes the government to take money in form of the salaries and allowances. The permission for the taxes, without taking the help or the assent of the parliament, the government cannot impose taxes. So all these are the financial powers, that means related to the money. So the students is expected to write these all points, so because all these points are important while writing the examination. So that's it. Some questions still left. I am trying to come back with some more questions. Till that, keep revising, start making the notes of by writing these answers and these points. These subheadings are very important to write, because these subheadings will attract the attention of the examiner while giving the marks, and it is very important to write the subheadings. The subheadings are very important. The subheadings will attract the attention of the examiner. After writing the subheadings, few things you can write it. Even 2 lines also you are able to write, it will carry the marks. But these are very necessary to write. Till that, thank you for watching the video. Thank you for watching the video. I am trying my best to take some more additional questions, and I will come back soon with taking some more important questions for the examination. So till that, keep watching the videos and start making the notes. Thank you. Have a nice day.